a lot of our peers, a lot of producers, mixing engineers, a lot of people in my bubble seem to be really afraid of this because it might, put people out of business.
Imagine the situation where an artist directly uses an AI to make his song and mix it and whatever. How does the artist know if the mix is right?
And so what is a right or wrong decision in mixing, right? It's not like a mathematical thing where there's this one perfect solution and everything else is wrong.
We're using AI on this podcast.
Yeah.
Pretty often. I don't know if that could be done by a person, maybe, but it would take a while, right?
This is the Self-Recording Band Podcast, the show where we help you make exciting records on your own, wherever you are, DIY style. Let's go.
We need to talk about AI again. Malcolm and I have done an episode on this a while ago now, and things have changed since then, and especially the last couple of weeks have been pretty wild in terms of what I've seen online, the discussions I've seen, new stuff coming out, people being scared and afraid of it. There was a lot of things going on. It's April 2025 is the time of this recording, and I just wanted to do another episode on this because it really made me think, and for a moment, I was scared about it too. I was like, is everything we do here soon going to be completely irrelevant, But then I came to a completely different conclusion, and I wanted to talk about what I think AI can definitely not do and probably will never be able to do. And we'll see how well that ages, but that is my take right now. And then it also caused a few major changes in how I want to run this platform, the Self-Recording Band. And at the end of this episode, I'm going to share some important updates, some news that even Manel doesn't know about yet. So please stick with us till the end of this episode and you'll know what's going on. It's great news. You're going to benefit from it. And yeah, I want to have this discussion. It is going to be interesting. And as always, I'm not doing this on my own. I'm doing this with my friend and co-host Manel from Madrid, Spain. Hello, Manel. Good to have you.
Hi, guys. It's, as Benedict says, Manel Espinosa from Spain. And I'm a music producer, and I really enjoy working with artists in their music and also making this podcast with Benedict.
Awesome. Yeah, I really enjoy having you on this show every single week. My name is Benedict. I'm a mixing engineer. I run a mixing studio called Outback Recordings. We mix a lot of songs here every single year, hundreds of them. We've been doing that for many years now, and we are sharing all of the things that we've learned in the process. We're sharing that here on this platform. We are helping many of the bands that we work with get better recordings at the source so we can do a better job mixing. Before we specialized in mixing, we were doing full production, so there's also a lot of experience there. And all those things, like I said, that we've learned in the last 15 years, we're going to now share that with you. That's why we built this platform, so that you can make more exciting sounding records from your jam spaces and home studios. So if that is what you want to do, you're in the right place. Welcome if you are new. Welcome if you're already a listener. Always appreciate you. All right. And let's dive into this. Manel, I want to say before we get into the AI thing, your shirt is giving me summer vibes, and I like that.
Oh, yeah. I love this shirt. Yeah. Like, it's getting sunny here in Spain, so it makes sense, Also, we have some sort of sun here, So.
Yeah. It works. It works. Absolutely. Awesome. Yeah. So, Manel, I don't know, have you seen any of the crazy AI news or talks or things going on the last couple of weeks? Or is that are you one of the few lucky ones that just don't, read that stuff?
Are we talking about AI things related to music?
Yes.
Or then no. I've seen something that is being also kind of polemic, which is that a lot of people are using AI tools to copy the drawing style of the Studio Ghibli guy.
Yes.
Which is an anime artist, just in case you don't know about him. And yeah, that's generating a whole debate on the, property of those images and copyright and all that. So
yeah. Yeah, I've seen that too. And that is also, it's very similar to what I've seen in the music world. So there's two angles here. One thing that I've seen is the whole ongoing discussion, and it gets worse and worse, about AI companies stealing intellectual property from artists to train their models, where artists are protesting against that, and there are lawsuits and all that, and our artists are afraid that their art is going to be used to train the AI models, so that then people can make their own stuff based on what other people have created. And so that is going on and getting worse every day almost, and a lot of discussion on that. And then on the other hand, there is the tools that are getting better and better that allow you to make or mix or master or whatever music. And a lot of our peers, a lot of producers, mixing engineers, a lot of people in my bubble seem to be really afraid of this because it might, put people out of business. It might replace some of the jobs in the music industry, and it could have all kinds of other consequences. And so I wanted to talk a little about this. Also, I've tried a new tool, and this is also part of this discussion that kind of sparked the idea for this episode, because Waves came out with, I think it's called the Curves AQ, if I'm correct. This is an EQ plugin that analyzes your source track and then applies EQ automatically. And they say in the video that I've seen, the promo video, they say it does everything you would have done, but it does it faster and better. That's literally what they say. And then they went to, they have this video on YouTube and the shorter version on social, where they went to big mixing engineers like CLA, JJP, and a couple of others, and showed them the plugin. And apparently everyone was blown away. And, a typical promo marketing video. And then I was curious. I tried it myself, because I see all those things as tools, and I'm always interested and curious. And I tried it myself. And I mean, yeah, it's cool, but it is not as, in my opinion at least, Waves, it is not as like revolutionary as they claim to be. It just gives you 5 different curves that it suggests based on the input, but there's no context. Like all the other instruments in the genre, in the mix, in the arrangement, they are not even part of the consideration, part of the whole equation. So mixing is all about context and serving the song. So what do I do with just a curve based on the input signal? And then I get 5 different curves that I can choose from that are drastically different. And so some of the things that it did in terms of how it cleaned up the signal, got rid of resonances or hum or mud or whatever, was pretty cool. And you could use it as like a starting point, inspiration. And sometimes I'd used it and I was like, oh yeah, that could actually be a good idea to do it like that. And then you can tweak from there. So as a tool that gives you great ideas, makes it a little faster or easier maybe, I can see that, but it has nothing to do with autonomous mixing, like the way they promoted it. So I just want to say that before we get into this. And it's been the same with all AI tools that I've tried so far. And I think, and it made me think about this whole theme that I wanted to cover on this episode, and that I want to ask you about, Manel, as well. I think that fundamentally, even if an AI tool can do all the technical things, and even if you could clone yourself or some mixing engineer and it could make all the decisions, the technical decisions, it even if it knew how to use a compressor and like all these different parameters, and even if it did all those things, the one thing, and even if it had context, the one thing AI doesn't have, in my opinion, is it doesn't have taste. And so what is a right or wrong decision in mixing, right? It's not like a mathematical thing where there's this one perfect solution and everything else is wrong. Like, it's all about taste and personal preference. And if you give the same set of multitracks to 10 different professional mixers, you will get 10 completely different mixes, because everyone has different tastes and all of them are probably great. So taste. And then the other thing is AI cannot create a human emotional connection with anything. And I think that music and art is meant to connect with people, is meant to create, evoke emotions. And it's like, if I hear a song that I'm producing with an artist or mixing with an artist, and I hear their story that they tell me as to why they wrote the song and the lyrics and all of that, that influences how I'm going to mix and produce this. And there's a certain thing we try to achieve, a connection with their listeners. And all the technical stuff these are just tools to get me there. But there's this misconception that mixing is like this, that there's this one EQ curve that is what you should do on a certain thing, and you can even break all the rules intentionally and do something that's really weird or wrong, and that can be very cool and make the song a hit, like. So I don't know. I want to hear your thoughts on that first of all. If you think that, how you think about this, because maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe AI can develop taste or create that kind of connection, but that's the thing that I'm really struggling with at the moment. Where I just can't imagine that happening, because art is fundamentally human to me, no matter the tools. But what's your take on this?
One thing that I'm thinking right now is that we as producers / mixing engineers, we are also like a quality control.
Yeah.
So if you imagine the situation where an artist directly uses an AI to make his song and mix it and whatever, how does the artist know if the mix is right?
Yes. Yeah.
And what is right and wrong?
Exactly.
To start with, like that's the first thing. And then the other thing that you kind of mentioned is that some of those tools and magical processes we're talking about eliminate the process. And the process is something that a lot of artists enjoy a lot, which is the process of going to a studio and record your stuff, and that takes time. And that's also why it has more value, because you spend time with people and there's interaction and all that. And even before having any sort of AI in the scene, there are like artists who make their music downloading, instrumental tracks from the internet, which in this case, they are probably made by a person, but that is also a way in which artists cut out the process, because that instrumental song is not made for them. So
True.
I think for those kind of artists, maybe the AI can help, because, it's just going to be the same little process they have,
Yeah.
But for, artists who enjoy the craft and the process of making music, they want to work with people, not with an AI. So I guess if you dedicate your life to make instrumentals, maybe you have many chances to have problems in the future, because it's going to be easier. But if your business or your process is based on the interaction with artists and all that, is more like a creative thing, I don't see, artists, the artists you work with, they don't want that. They want the whole process, the whole,
Yeah, I completely agree. And since we're talking to self-recording artists primarily here, if you are making your own music and you are thinking about how can I make this come out of the speakers the way I want it to sound, and you have the option of going to a studio or learning it yourself or using an AI to do it for you, then if you go to a studio and hire professionals, you'll have a team of good people who make sure that it sounds awesome at the end. If you learn it yourself, hopefully from great people who know what they're doing, you'll know how to do it yourself eventually at the end. And if you use AI, then exactly what you just said, Manel, will happen, that you get a result, but without the knowledge or without anyone else listening to this, you won't know if it is good. And because the production, the knowledge that the producer or mixer has is not just how to turn which knob, it is how to listen for certain things. We've talked about this a lot on this podcast, but it is about how to, being able to spot frequency problems, being able to make good decisions as to how punchy the transients should be, and the stereo image, and the width, and the depth, and like all these things. And it is, a lot of it is ear training, a lot of it is developing your taste. And you still need all of that if an AI does it, because you are, like you said, Manel, you need to be the quality control at the end. And it's not just the technical stuff. It is, you want to make something happen emotionally. And yes, you could argue now, if the prompts are good enough, like if you know how to prompt, if you know how to tell the AI what you want, it just does that, and then you can tell if it feels good. I still bet you won't be able to know if it translates well to all kinds of other systems, and even if you can tell that the AI, you'll just get this one thing that I just can't imagine. It's not you. It's not that, like, you didn't make that decision because you felt it when you heard it. You just accepted the decision that a machine made. And yes, it can be that you like it, but what would have happened if you put your heart and soul into it? If you, I don't know, it's just not you. And I don't know if we want that. I mean, maybe you do, but like that's how I think about it. It's just all about developing taste, about knowing your style, what you stand for, what you want to create, and then making that happen. And if you have that knowledge and then you can prompt accordingly, then AI just becomes a tool. And I think that is totally fine, just like a plugin does, like a compressor, EQ, whatever. If we have little helpers that get us there faster, I have nothing to say against that, as long as I'm able to give the input that's required and then do the quality control. I don't have to physically turn the knob. I just want to have a vision in my head, a sound in my head, something I want to create, and then I want to get an outcome. I want to hear that come out of the speakers, and then I want to be able to say, yes, that's it, or no, let me change something. And if I like, whatever technical tool does that, I don't really care, as long as it is my idea, my input, my art that I can, or the art of the artist that I can elevate with this. This is how I think we should see this. And a lot of people skip that step and just let the AI make the decisions instead of making the decisions, and then let the AI just do it, the processing. That's a different perspective, I think. So long story short, I personally believe that we don't need to be afraid if we are good at what we're doing, and if we take the art seriously, and if it is meaningful to us. I think the people who have to be afraid of this and who will go out of business are all the, as harsh as that sounds, but all the bad producers and mixing engineers. Because if you are not above a certain level, then the AI might be able to do it as good or better as you do right now. And I mean, with a level, I don't mean, again, technical. I mean, if you're just either not as talented, you don't have the ear, or you don't spend the time to really develop your taste and your ear and all that, if you just don't do that, maybe you have a problem. But I think the ones who are real artists and who care about the art and put in the work and have something to say and have a clear vision and are good at what they're doing, I don't think we have to be afraid, because those people have what the AI just doesn't have by default. And since AI, in the way we're talking about it right now, is simply machine learning, and it is not coming up with something new, it is taking something that already exists and then recreating it in some sort of way, but it is always trained on stuff that already exists. So it doesn't like develop new styles of music, new tastes, or new things. That's the other thing, right? We as humans, we can move things forward. We can change a genre. We can invent a genre. We can change certain styles and trends and whatever. AI is just machine learning. It's not a real intelligence. It is not creating something, although the companies make you believe that, but it's not the case. If you look it up, so far, it is machine learning. So it's just doing things that already exists and putting it together in a new way. And so this is also a fundamental difference. So I think there's nothing to be afraid of, as long as we are focusing on the things that make us human and why we need art in the first place. Like, why do we even make music and need art? Not because we do it because the like you said, the process is what matters. The connection, the making of the art matters just as much as the outcome. Like, in other professions or hobbies or things, it's the same thing. You can buy almost anything that, like, cheaply made in a factory by a robot, or you can build it yourself. Why are there still people who build their own furniture, or who have a garden and, do things themselves? Like, you can buy vegetables for cheap. You can buy a cheap table or something, or you can make something yourself, which is tedious, takes a long time, is probably not cheaper than just buying a cheap thing, but we still do it because we value the process of making that, and at the end we're proud of it, and it is unique and it's ours. And so I think the same thing will happen with art and music. because ultimately that's why we want art, and we want to know why a person made something and how they express themselves through that thing. And so that's what makes me hopeful in this whole situation, that I think it will just, that by definition art can't be replaced, because then it's not art anymore, and why would we want that even?
Yeah, I think that basically the more authentic the music is, it's gonna be less affected by AI, basically.
Yeah.
And like, for example, I went to a conference a couple of weeks ago, and they had this. I mean, the conference was about technology and music, basically. And they had this piano that was sort of like playing itself, like imitating how, people who are not with us anymore used to play piano, like classical players. And yeah, that's a interesting thing to see for a while, but I mean, what's the point? I want to see a person playing the piano, not just like the piano moving itself, like if there was a ghost playing or something, which that would be interesting. Yes. But
that would be interesting. Yes. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah. It's the human part that's missing, and so I think it just misses the point if we don't see it as tools. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure we're already seeing that, but I'm sure we will see a flood of AI music out there, and a lot of artists will do it, just like a lot of people buy cheap Chinese-made crap, myself included, or whatever, and not everybody does everything handmade, high quality, whatever. We all buy cheap stuff, even though it might be low quality, just because it's convenient. We all and the same will be with music. Some people will make convenient, fast music, and a lot of people will do it. We will see a flood of that kind of music out there. But I think, like you said, the better you are, the better the music or the art is, the more authentic it is. Not just what's better or worse. Like, the more authentic it is, and the more it means to you, the less afraid you need to be, and there will just be these two types of art and music in the future. It's just the way it's going to be. And maybe we'll have different categories then. The platforms are already doing that, like Spotify and YouTube and all that. They are implementing new ways to detect AI art and real art or music or whatever. And then we might have different categories, and you can then decide if you want to listen to AI music or human music or whatever. Like, that could be a real scenario, and that's fine. They can coexist. But I think the need for human connection and art and high quality things will just be there, just as it is with craftsmanship and in other areas.
But is there, I don't know about this, but is there a reliable way to detect AI made music at the moment?
I've read a little about this. I'm not an expert, so I can't tell for sure. I just know that I think that Spotify, it's kind of weird. Spotify, for example, does two things. They are working on something that is able to detect AI created music. However they do that, I don't know. And at the same time, they are developing tools that make it easy for creators to create AI music. So they're doing both. And YouTube also has a thing that they're I don't know how good this will work, but I can see a world where we have these different categories, almost like genres. There will be human music and AI music, and maybe that's fine. For example, if I want to listen to, and you could argue, yes, that's also art, but let's say I want to listen to a monotonous study beats kind of background thing while I'm doing something on the computer.
Yeah,
maybe I don't need the connection to the artist as much. I just need a steady beat that's going on for 3 hours in the loop on top of it, whatever. And that can be, I don't care if it's AI created. I don't know about if I really think that way, because there are also humans now doing that, and maybe it means something to them. But you see what I mean? Like, maybe there are categories where less people care about who made it. Yeah. And then there are the bands and the artists that you are a fan of that you care about, because that's the other thing that I wanted to get to in this episode, and that is the community and connection aspect. Because part of consuming music is not just the music, it is that you become a fan and you are connected to that artist. We don't just, at least I can only speak for myself, but I see a lot of people out there do the same, That's how the music industry works. It's like, I don't just listen to music, I'm interested in the band. I watch the documentaries about the band. I read the books. I buy merch. Like, I'm wearing a band shirt right now. This is not an AI. This is a band, Hot Water Music, that I like. So I wouldn't buy a shirt from an AI, whatever. And so there's this whole important part too. And like I said, for some music, I'm not as interested in who the artist is, but the stuff that I listen to because I want to listen to music, I'm interested in those people. I will look up who's produced it, who's mixed it, who's written it, like all those things. And so that part is going away then too. And I think that's a big part of music. And maybe not so much in the new, like, younger generations now. It could be. But on the other hand, you see how connected they are to TikTok creators or Instagram influencers or whatever. There's still these huge fan movements and huge followings that people have. And I think that's fundamentally also a part of it. It's just we as humans want to be connected. We want to have a sense of community. And in a world where everybody just, if we don't need anyone anymore, if we are developing into such a isolated, individualistic, society where I can do everything on my own at my computer and I don't need anyone anymore for anything, that is a very sad future, in my opinion. And it's like, and I don't think it's healthy for humans, and I don't think it's going to work out. I think we need to do cool things together with other people, and we need to be inspired by other people. And a world where I can make everything on my own and I don't need help is actually not something cool. I think it is bad. I think it's good that we need other people for some things at the moment. So I don't know how you feel about this, but to me, this sounds very lonely and sad, honestly.
Yeah, I have a take on this actually, because I basically made I would say 90% of my album myself, and I could have done it all myself probably. Yeah. And I can say, it's been a good experience because I've learned a lot of things along the way and I've been researching a lot, but it has also been pretty boring. Like, now after that experience, I feel the need to make music with other people, share it. I miss the moments with my band where we were in the studio and we would be in the rehearsal room, trying riffs and stuff like that. I miss that connection with my friends, my bandmates. So yeah, this has been a good experience, but I could not do this forever, it's pretty boring and lonely.
Yes, I totally understand that. And yeah, so period. There's nothing else to say about this basically. And if this is a very good segue into what I wanted to also share on this episode is because what we're doing here is we teach people the tech, but also a lot of the big picture production, perspectives and all that. Some of it is techniques like EQ, compression, all that, but we always also talk about the songs, the arrangements, the art itself. But still, it is pretty much individual people listening to us and doing their thing. And some of them are in bands, some of them collaborate with others, but it is thousands of people individually doing their things. And even if you buy one of our courses, for example, you go through the course on your own and you implement it, right? And then you might listen to the podcast and you do it on your own. And then now with AI, you might get a bunch of cooler new plugins and AI tools, and then you can do even more on your own. And it's a lot of like what you just said, doing it on your own, making your own records in isolation. And I thought, how can we make this more less about the tools and less about information or techniques or tools and then making it happen? How can we make it more about human connection and the essence of what art is, the expression, the collaboration, the fun, the stuff that computers, that robots cannot do? And then it made me think about our community that we have inside of the Self-Recording Syndicate, because in there, even though people are doing their own thing, there is this sense of community. We talk about each other's art. We give each other feedback. We help each other out. There, collaborations are happening where, like last week or a couple of weeks ago, when Brian did the sync licensing project and Torsten from Germany was playing drums on the song, and then they submitted it for this brief, and these collaborations happen. It is fun to hang out once or twice a week together and talk about music, and we have this feeling of doing it together in a way, and I can, and even myself, although I am kind of leading this, I realized that my life has gotten a lot less lonely because of that community, because I'm spending so much time in the studio and I'm working so much because I like it, that I'm also alone a lot of the times focused on my work. And being in that community every single day, interacting with you, doing these calls and all that makes it so much more enjoyable. And I have this good balance between mixing songs for people where I'm on my own, working with Thomas at my studio, and then having this community. And it would be absolutely no fun if I was on my own all the time. And so I thought, okay, what can we now do? And here's what we came up with. From now on, when you buy any of our courses, I'm not talking about our one-on-one membership, which is the best thing we have to offer. That is, I get it, is also relatively expensive because you're working one-on-one with me and all that. But when you buy one of our courses that are much, much more affordable, much cheaper, they are video courses. When you buy any of these now, you get 90 days of access to the Self-Recording Syndicate. It is not one-on-one mentoring. It is not what we do with the one-on-one students in there, but you can access the community. You can access the group coaching calls. You can interact with people, and you can be part of this for 90 days at no extra cost. And this will help you implement what you've learned in the courses. This will make sure you don't have to go through the courses alone because you have other people who are also doing it with you. You can get to know the people in the community and how we work in there. You can be live with us at the studio when we do these live sessions. You can watch me work on actual projects and ask questions. And I thought, this is not much extra work for me at all because you're just doing the group part. You're joining the community. You're even bringing value to this community. And I would just love to have more people in there. And then after those 90 days, there's also a sense of accountability because if you have 90 days and you just bought a course, maybe that helps you actually implement what you've seen in the course. And maybe that will make sure that people will actually go through it, implement it, and do what they wanted to do. And then after those 90 days, if you enjoyed this community and you get a lot of value from it, which I'm sure you will, then you can just stay inside there for a very low monthly rate. You can keep access to all the community resources, the downloads we have in there. We have special content and resources just for the coaching people in there, and you can keep access to that and to the community. And if you feel like, hey, you know what, I'm seeing what all those one-on-one people are getting and their own personal roadmap and unlimited personal access to me and feedback and their upload area and all the things we're working on. And if you want that, then you can upgrade to the one-on-one program. But all that to say, the community used to be exclusive for the one-on-one people, and I think that doesn't make sense. I think everyone should be in this community because the community will be better, because it will help everyone. And I don't want to have people who just buy something anonymously, go through it on their own with little support. I want to give everyone the support, all the support that we can, basically, as a community, as a platform. And so, if that sounds cool to you, if that sounds interesting, go to any of the courses that you'll find in the description of this show. And you can buy any of them. So let's say if you are mostly focused on mixing right now, you can get Mixes Unpacked. This is a mixing course. You can get that, and you'll automatically be invited to the syndicate as well. If you are worried about editing most at the moment, buy Dead on Drums, our editing course. It's a drum editing course, but it covers all the editing techniques, basically. If you buy that, you can also get access to the syndicate. If you are recording a record or want the big picture system, get Mix Ready, the band recording essentials. Choose one of those courses, or you can get the everything bundle that gets you all the courses. Whatever you do, you get 90 days of access to the community, and then you can decide if you want to stay in there, if you want to upgrade to one-on-one, or if you want to leave. But I think this will help us build a stronger community. This will help us connect with more people. And I want this to be a big self-recording family. And so this is what we're doing. And at the end of the day, information alone will become less and less valuable because you can get all the information on the internet for a long time now. One of the kind of good things about video courses was that somebody curates the information for you and creates a system so you don't have to look it up yourself. And that's still true. But now with AI, even that is possible. You can talk to ChatGPT or whatever, and it can give you a systematic, learning approach or whatever. If you know how to use these tools, information itself is not the important thing anymore. It is implementing that information. It is connecting with other people. It is knowing if what you do is actually good. It is not doing it on your own, not being lonely. It is the community, and it is the human part of making art. And so I've just decided to not just sell information anymore with our courses. I want to offer people a great place to hang out, a great community, and then go even further with the ones who do the one-on-one mentoring, which is the best you can do, in my opinion. So yeah, this was my long explanation about those updates. And I don't know how you feel about this, Manel, but I want to ask you because you had no idea.
I think it's a really great idea. I mean, I guess that the bigger the community becomes, the more interactions we'll have, the more connections we'll make inside a community. Because I think it's a very healthy community. Because a lot of people are pretty active there and sharing their stuff, and also, sometimes talking about their problems when making music and stuff. So yeah, if we can get more people there who are also interested in this music production, mixing, audio in general thing, I think that's for the better.
Yes, I totally agree. And it's right what you said there. It is a very positive, very healthy community, and I will do everything I can to keep it like that. So if you join, so far this was easy for me because only the people in the one-on-one program had access to the community, and I talked to every single one of them personally before I let them in the program, because you have to apply, you have to be a great fit and all that, and I continue to do that, of course. But that made it easy for me to weed out people that I just don't want to have in the community. If you now buy a course, I don't know you, which means if you access the community and you are not, a good fit for this, you don't have to be, not everybody's super active or whatever, but let's just say the way it is. Like, if you are an asshole in there, I will just kick you out. And so, and that is just something I will definitely continue to do. We will monitor this. I'm in the community every single day anyways. And so I will keep it clean. I will keep it safe for everyone. I will keep it positive and encouraging. And so if that's the kind of vibe you want, then you are very, very welcome. And I think we all benefit from this community growing. It's been something that's been on my mind a lot of times. Also because, to be honest, the majority of the one-on-one students are not active in the community as much. Like, we have a lot of students in there that I work with one-on-one a lot, but they are just not interacting as much in the community. And so there is room for more people, and everybody's different. And so let's just do that. Let's just disconnect the two a little bit. Let's just let people in. And I'm looking forward to this a lot. So if you want to do this, check out Mix Ready or Mixes Unpacked or Dead on Drums, our courses, or the Everything Bundle. It's all in the link below, in the description below, or in the show notes of this podcast. And join. And if you already know that you want one-on-one mentoring and your own personal roadmap and unlimited personal access and uploads and feedback and all that we work on with people together, then just apply for that and you can skip buying the course. But different things for different people. And I also know that a lot of people are very passionate and excited and would love to do it, but especially in this economy right now, maybe you just can't afford the one-on-one, and maybe a good starting point for you is to just buy a course and then can save up and do it later, So that's also part of it, that I want to have a few, solutions for different budgets too. So yeah, let's see how well that goes. And I just believe in this whole connection and human thing, really. And so back to the AI topic, I am not afraid anymore if I really think about it. I think that the really good artists and producers and mixers and all that will stay. The tools that they're going to use, they will change. So maybe in a couple of years, I will not be touching my EQs and compressors anymore. Maybe I'm just talking to my computer. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I still want to be in charge, and I still want to be the one with the creative vision, and I still can work with artists to bring out the best in them. And that all won't go away, even if the tools change. That is how I see it today. Who knows how this will age, but for now, this is how I see it.
Something that I'm, yeah, maybe it's kind of crazy, but I don't think it's that crazy. That I'm thinking that people could do, especially, people like you, that you dedicate your life to mix music, but you don't necessarily have the artists in your studio. Like, if there was an AI capable of studying how you work and make a model out of how you work, you could offer AI mixes to with a lower price or something like that,
I mean, it is people do this. It is already happening. There's the Spike Stent AI thing where he does exactly that. Apparently, I don't know if it's out yet, but that was the reason why we did the first episode on AI when that came out. So it is possible, I guess. You know why I don't want to do? I mean, I see the idea, but you know why I don't want to do this? Because of the same reason. Because yes, it would be a lower price mix, and it would be similar to how I would do it. But if I don't hear it and I cannot fully, for sure, say that this is the best thing for this artist that will help them achieve their goals, I don't want to sell it. It's the same thing, It's like there's an artist with a specific thing that they want to do, and with a vision, and with something they want to express, something that's important to them. And then if I take money to work on that, I need to make sure that I gave everything I have to give on this project. I don't want compromises. That's also why I never offered any kind of, quick and dirty mixes. I know studios who say like, okay, if you can't afford this, I'm going to do a quick half an hour rough mix or whatever. And that is only so-and-so. That doesn't help anyone. I never did this. That's why I don't have a revision limit at the studio. We're not done until you are 100% ready. And that's why I also don't want to make a cheap clone of myself. Although the idea from a business standpoint, of course, is appealing. But I don't know. But what I can see, and this could totally be a thing in the future, but is back to the information. I saw a couple of coaches in different niches now create a clone of themselves in terms of their knowledge that you can just interact with. So I wouldn't be surprised if at some point in our coaching program, you would see a Benny AI that you can call and talk to and ask questions if I'm not available, just because I can feed it with my knowledge and all the things that are not about taste, but just clear answers to technical questions and stuff like that. That is definitely a thing. It's already a thing. Companies are using chatbots all the time. So knowledge transfer, yes. Finishing art to help someone express themselves, no, for me.
Yeah. Yeah, but at the end, it's a matter of values and authenticity.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not even judging. I'm not even saying that how I view it is right and others are wrong. It's just how exactly what you said. It's how I see it in terms of values and authenticity and what is valuable to me. And you do you. If somebody else says, I don't care about all of that, I want to push a button and then it's done. And if it sounds decent, I'll put it out. Awesome. I don't have anything against that. And that's why I think they can coexist and will coexist.
Yeah.
It is all a matter of values. And to me, the human connection is worth a lot. And to me, the art and the emotions are worth a lot, and I value that, and so that's why I don't want to replace it. And
yeah, but then the thing is that I think AI is just a tool.
Yeah,
that the different views already exist. There are people who do more sort of authentic music with more interaction, with more artists with more elements and stuff like that. And there's also other people, which we are not saying it's better or worse or whatever, but there are other kind of artists who make music that is, faster. It's just like food,
Yeah.
You can go to McDonald's and have your.
Yes.
I was gonna say something really bad, but I'm not gonna say it. Or you can go to the restaurant here next to my place, which is people from here making, homemade stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and the AI is just a tool to make the hamburgers, but
Absolutely. and there might still be people who are even more about the personal work and like who have different values than I have. So maybe I'm fine with automating some editing tasks or some tedious session prep tasks or some whatever parts of the music production process that I personally think don't make a difference in terms of how the end result feels. But maybe there are people out there who are like, nope, a human needs to do that because that is important to me. And that's also totally okay. There will be this whole, or there already is this whole spectrum of people, and it's totally fine. It's all a matter of values and perspectives. And if you want to buy AI tools to make it as quick and easy for you as possible to put your music out, more power to you. Do it. If you are about human connection and humans listening to your art and making sure that you can express yourself a certain way, then go with a platform like us and learn it from people, or hire producers and mixers and collaborate with others. Like, just do whatever you think is good for your art and whatever you value, and that is totally fine. I just don't like. It's important, I think, that there are different offers, and that you know who you're talking to and who you're offering your services to. And I have made that decision for myself. So yeah.
So the thing is that we're not saying that we don't like AI or anything like that. We're just pointing out that there's a wall or there's a door that AI cannot cross for now.
Yes.
And that, if you want that, you need to get people. That's it. Because in fact, we're using AI on this podcast.
Yeah.
Pretty often. To clean up weird sounds that may arise sometimes. So, and it's helping a lot. So,
yeah.
I don't know if that could be done by a person, maybe, but it would take a while, right?
Yeah.
So,
and again, it will replace certain jobs in every industry, like the jobs, like the butt in seat jobs, where you just need a butt in a seat that does the job basically, and anybody with a pulse could do it if you teach them how to. Those kind of jobs, of course, will be at risk, and that's terrible for those people. I'm not saying that's a good thing, but like, this is just the reality. And audio cleanup, where it is not about a certain creative result, is part of these things. Yes, you can have a human do it, or you can have a machine do it, but the human input and creativity and emotion and what makes us human is not necessary to do that. Any job where you need to think and feel like a human and create connection or be creative, create new things, be innovative, all those things, they will still exist. And this is a good example. Both are like mixing a song and cleaning up spoken word for a podcast are both audio jobs, but one of them needs a human and the other one not necessarily anymore.
Yeah.
And I, again, not saying it's bad or good. It's just the reality of what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And even the cleanup, I could do, like, I'm still, for example, hiring you to mix and edit the podcast. Why do I do that? There would be solutions, or there are solutions, I've used them before, that are pretty quick and where you can do a quick edit or whatever. But I want you to listen to the podcast and cut out the stuff that's irrelevant and leave the other stuff in, because I want our personality and our style of doing it, and not just a preset that removes certain filler words. And I mean, you can, and you are free and able to use those tools, and it's totally fine if you do. But I know that Manel still did the quality control and listened to the episode, at least partly, whatever. And also I want you to look at like the video and and listen to how it sounds. And then sometimes you would send me a message that something was broken in my setup here and we have this weird noise in there or something. And like, I want that. And yeah, everybody does it differently. Anyway, I appreciate every human that is on projects with me, collaborating with me. And at the end, I can create cool stuff together with cool people. And that's what it's all about. So yeah, this is our take on the AI and artificial or whatever you want to call it. It's not even intelligence, but you know what I mean. Robots doing things versus humans doing things. I want to hear your thoughts if you're listening to this. Comment below on YouTube. Send us a message. You can DM me on Instagram at Benedictine. Manel's also on Instagram at Manelito Musica. And you can find us on YouTube, the Self-Recording Band. You can send us an email, podcast at the Self-Recording Band. Contact us in any of those ways. And let us know your thoughts. Maybe you're super pro AI and super excited about the new tech. Maybe you are completely against it and refuse to have any machine do anything for you. I want to hear both perspectives. And again, if you are interested in what we are offering here, the easiest way to describe is we have courses that now come with 90 days of access to our syndicate community, the Self-Recording Syndicate, where you can be live on group sessions with us every single week, oftentimes twice a week, where you have exclusive content only available inside of there, and where you have an excellent community of like-minded peers. Or instead of those courses, we have the one-on-one mentoring where you work personally with me and part of people on my team, and we guide you personally through making your next record every step along the way. You can upload unlimited music, you get unlimited feedback, you can send me DMs as often as you want, you have one-on-one access, you can book one-on-one sessions with me, and I'll make sure that your next record sounds amazing. Both of those things are cool. Both include the community now. You'll find the details to that in the description. And yeah, I would love to talk to you soon. Thank you for listening as always. We appreciate you.
Goodbye.